Yeah, sis and tell, a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, it's the place you wanna be. Sis and tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Nothing much.
I am a little distracted because you have like grown-up nails.
I have grown up. So I have to say, I am not someone, I don't like getting my nails done. Okay. If anything, I do my toes, and that's like 3 times a year, maybe. But Lee Dix, who's one of my oldest friends, she took me to get our nails done for my birthday, and I decided to get gel nails.
Yeah.
And they looked so good. And then I shot that TV pilot, and I was like, I'm glad I got my nails done, because if not, I look, I don't bite my nails, but I usually just keep them real short, and I don't
That's me.
and I mess them up immediately. Like, I find a way to like get something out of
Yeah.
my pocket or something, and they get screwed up. So then Ruby loves to get her nails done. And we're on vacation, and we did a little girls thing. And we wore masks, by the way. We got our nails done, and I've like $7,000 later. Like, they're trying to like
Those
upsell
nails
me
are
on.
they're never going to come off. That polish is there for 6 months.
No, they did. My nails are like gobstoppers, first of all, and I did the gel because they don't come off and they make your nails harder. But they do like 7,000 layers, and you put your finger in like a hamburger underneath a hamburger lamp, and I don't know what it is. But I don't know if I'm getting skin cancer from whatever that lamp is.
Yeah,
And-
that's the same way. I've done the gel, but you know what happens is you can't get that gel nail polish off yourself. You have to go back
Oh.
in, and it's like another 30 minutes for them
It's a power
to
tool.
soak it in acetone and then to
Yeah.
peel it off. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And then they did this. They had like a power tool, and they're like sanding it off. This is way too high maintenance for me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it again. And I was so bored just sitting. I don't like getting my nails done. That's what it comes to. It's so boring. I'd much rather go to one of those cheap places in a not so great neighborhood and get my legs and feet rubbed for an hour for
Right.
$5.
Well, I do like a good pedicure. I feel like my feet, I'm so hard on my feet, and I get a pedicure. I try to get one once every month, or I mean in the summer maybe more. I feel like I should be able to put it on my insurance that my feet really it is a necessary health added benefit. But I don't get my nails done either, and I used to bite my nails. I can remember, this is funny, I can remember the time when I stopped biting my nails. I was in synagogue. It must have been for one of the Jewish holidays.
I was counting all the Jewish stars on the ceiling.
Yes,
And
I
then
was-
I got to number 72, and then I thought,
Oh, I should really pay attention to the rabbi. I was sitting in synagogue. I was sitting next to mommy. I was definitely out of high school, maybe in college, which I don't know why I would come home for the high holiday, or maybe post college. But it was, at least at a point probably I was like 19 years old. And of course I do the old, let me try on your rings, which is, that's where the height of boredom kicks in synagogue, where you start
"Were
trying
you guys
on
shamed?
the
Did you
people.
get-
No, but you try on the people around you. Let me try on your watch. Let me see that ring. Oh, let's trade earrings. Let's just
I start braiding the talit.
right. You start
Which is a prayer
you
shawl,
start
for
accessorizing.
those of you who don't
So
know.
yeah, so I tried on her rings, and no, I wasn't shame. It was my own self shame that I looked down and I look at my nails, which were disgusting because I did bite them, and like pick the cuticles, did all that stuff. I know people are
Ew.
wincing now. And I looked down at mommy's beautiful rings on my finger, and I said, wow, I can never get engaged because I'll never want to show anybody my ring, right? Like the first thing someone says, oh, you got engaged, let me see. But I was so embarrassed by my hands. I said, I don't even want to put anything on here. I'm embarrassed to be wearing your ring right now. And I stopped biting my fingernails that moment. And I never looked back. I never bit again.
Can we just talk about can we just talk about those photos that people post when they get engaged, and it's not just like a couple's photo, but they like, and I wish y'all could see this visual, but they like
Your hand is over your heart,
right,
but
they
not
do
the
this,
way like you're not
and they're
saying like
like-
the Pledge of Allegiance. You're
like they're
it's like your hand is turned into an octopus that you cannot
right.
control.
It's like covering your face. It's like that thing from Aliens, right? They're
Yeah.
like, this is my ring. It's like a scene. It's like an episode of America's Next Top Model and the product they have to model is a ring, and they find like some abstract way of showing it off.
Yeah.
And it's so like, look, we didn't have Facebook or any social media when we were engaged. It just
No.
didn't. Friendster existed. Maybe MySpace did. I don't know. For me, at least, not you. But
Right. I don't even
but
think I
it's
had
like
that.
this awkward, like, here's my ring to prove that I'm engaged, and now I'm putting it like over my
Right.
eyebrow.
Now
It's
I'm
like,
recreating the scene from Pulp
and
Fiction where you can see like a
right,
few of my fingers. And now I'm just like, awkwardly putting them, but pretending that it's not awkward on my chest so that you can actually see them. No, it is. It is. It is. But anyway, back to the nail biting. So I stopped biting my nails, but I
wow,
never got my nails done for the same reason. It's so funny. We've never discussed this. The same reason as you. I keep my nails fairly short, pretty short, and I will mess them up. I will leave. I won't even get out of the chair, and my hand nails will be messed up. My
my hand
toenails,
nails.
if I don't sit there and let them become completely dry too. But the gel nail polish at the
It
time
does.
was life changing until I realized I couldn't, like, once it chipped once, I wanted it off. I don't like walking around with a chipped color anything on my nails. So I sat the first time I got gel nail polish, which may have also been the last time, first and last time. I sat at my desk where I'm sitting right now, and while I was on a call, I sat over the trash can and I picked off all
Ew,
10
that's so
nails.
bad.
Yeah, and you
Ew.
know what? It picks off like 5 layers of nail on your
Ooh.
nail bed. And so then
Oh,
it took like 8 months for my nails to recover from
oh,
my haphazard removal of the gel nail polish. So
this
don't
is.
do that. That is
I'm not.
a cautionary
Guess
tale.
what?
Do not take off your own gel nail polish.
Guess what happened? So I'm gonna, and I have my nails are painted white, so I'm just gonna, when I need to cut my nails next, eventually these will just look like French tips.
Oh, right. They're going to grow out. That's if they don't. They will chip eventually. Some of
No.
it starts to peel off. Like the edges, once they leave the bed of your cuticle, you're gonna start playing with it, and
Okay.
it's
We have
gonna.
to stop talking about our nails because this is not our.
I
We
know.
got to
All
move
right.
forward, and we have to talk about how come the nails on your toes have to be called toenails, but the nails on your hands are just nails.
They're the primary. They're the
That's
primary.
not fair. That's not fair to the toenails.
If you knew my toenails, it's fair. It's fair.
Okay, so I have an important question for you.
Hmm.
Is there anything that you own that's like you have in excess, right? And I don't mean you own something that's excessive, but
Right.
something that you have an excessive amount of.
Yes.
What is it?
Greeting cards.
Do you just buy them when you think they're funny, or do you buy multiple funny ones and have the same one, right? I know you have
Yes
one
and
for Alan.
yes.
Yeah.
I have no, Alan has one for me that he gives me every year. And
Okay.
I don't that's our only secret that I know of is where he gets the card every year because he's been giving it to me for 26 years.
That's
No,
adorable.
I have a greeting card problem. I have
Yeah.
like 3 drawers in this closet where I've tried to organize them. I If I added them up, it's like somebody who goes to Starbucks every day and then finally adds up, that addiction and says, "Oh my gosh, I've spent $5,000 on coffee. What do I have to show for it?" The difference is I have things to show for it. Some of them I've grown so attached to I will never mail them because
They
I
just
love
make
them
you
so
you
much.
open
They make me
you
so
open
happy.
them, and
Yeah.
here's the thing about this card that Alan gets you is that I think he's bought them in bulk, and he's like an actuary.
Yeah.
How long will Allison live? And I will get that number of
Well,
greeting
that's the
cards.
thing. I've told him I'm living till
So
100. You have to have like 49 more of these cards. And then I said, is there a provision in the will that if you die first, someone will continue to give me the card? Because that would be really sad to not get the
would
card as long as I
that would
live.
be sad.
Yeah. So
I'll
greeting
work it
cards,
out.
something really boring. What do you have in excess? You obviously have something.
Well, it was really, what does mommy have in excess? And so I'm at our parents have a condo in Destin, the Redneck Riviera, which we've talked about before. And it's a small condo, right? Guess how many chairs she has? Guess how
Like
many?
functional chairs, like chairs to sit
Yeah,
in.
yeah, all the chairs you can sit in. These are all the chairs you can sit. I'm not counting like ottomans,
I will
okay?
say 12.
and this is not how many people I'm talking about, thinking of like dining room chairs.
Oh, I forgot about those chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, 23.
Okay. If you count the chair that's in the shower, and it's like it's not a permanent chair.
I
It
don't think you
comes
get.
in
I don't think you can count the shower chair.
Okay. So then that drops us down by one. She's got, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
38 chairs.
Oh,
I
come on.
counted. Yeah. 38 chairs. In what world is it?
She likes
But-
chairs.
And so you said functional. Yeah, and there's all these like occasional chairs that occasionally no one will sit in. And I mean, I don't know why they're called occasional chairs, because they're in the corner. No one's going to go sit in that chair. Maybe your purse will end up on that chair.
Yeah.
It's like a piece of artwork, really.
Yeah.
It's like,
But you count the
statue.
couch as a big chair, or does that not count as a
no,
chair?
I counted every cushion. So I counted the couch as 3, even though probably 6 people could sit on that.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's bench. I mean, this is outside also. They have lots of chairs on the deck. So it's a lot of chairs. What I have excess of is lipsticks. One time I counted, I had 17 red lipsticks just in my purse. That does not include everything under my sink or in all my other purses. You know, when you go open up a purse and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know I had a lipstick in there. And some gum from 1992.
I'm looking around my office now, which is fairly small, and I have 6 chairs in here. Maybe I've inherited Mommy's chair addiction.
I have a lot of chairs. I have a lot of chairs, and I have a lot of wine glasses by mistake. This is what happens.
What do you mean by mistake?
Yeah, because look.
Like you're at a restaurant, you happen to throw one in your purse on your way out. You're like, oops, I took the wine glass.
Every time I go to a restaurant, I steal their glassware. No, so Aaron and I got married young. We were 24, right? So when we registered, we were 23.
Right.
Which is even younger.
Yeah.
Right? I registered for like the tropes of what you registered for. I would never have got, like, I have China. I would have never gotten that. We don't
Check.
use it. You can't put it in the dishwasher. Like, if anything, I would have like waited to inherit our grandmother's china, or like just gone to the antique store and start collecting random pieces for fun that were like really eclectic and quirky, like me. So, but no. And then one thing I registered for was so much glassware, so many wine glasses, like every type of wine glass you could think of, plus crystal, plus I loved Swingers. This was very close to me being in college, right? So Swingers, with that movie Swingers,
You're so
was
money,
really
baby.
big.
You're
so money. And for the young people out there, Swingers was about swing dancing and not about the other type of swinger. Or maybe it was a double entendre.
No, not those. Wasn't swing dancing, was it? Were they swing dancing?
Well, swingers, maybe they were swinger. I don't know. They he did swing dancing at the end. But he was a swinger.
Are you talking about the same one with Vince Vaughn?
Yes. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
It was about, but it wasn't about like married people who swing, right? They were all single.
But they were single. Yeah.
Single in LA. But the like martinis were really big at that time, right? So we registered for martini glasses, which have like an inch layer of dust on them at this point. Like, and Mommy's like, oh, you could use those as parfait glasses. You could put some Jello in there. Like like all of a sudden we're back in the 80s and I'm serving Jello to my dinner guests. And like I'm even doing pre-plated food. Let's just get real. It's always a buffet and it's spaghetti. But anyways, I counted it once and I had like 60 wine glasses.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of wine glasses.
But if a glass breaks, I'm like, oh, well, whatever.
Right. I'll tell you, the best thing I registered for were the clear glass plates from Crate and Barrel. Because 24 and a half years later, that is still what we use every day of the week, 3 times a day. I used to
have those. They got scratched up and I gave them away.
They may be scratched up. Nobody cares. They're functional and they work. So I'm just going to keep those. My china is in the china cabinet, literally on display. My crystal is in the cabinets of the china cabinet, never to be seen. I do use the silver. The silver's fun, and I only got like half of the silver that I registered for, so maybe like 7 place settings, which was fine. And then I went on eBay at the time and I filled it in. I found the pattern on eBay. The difference was the pattern was the same, but the silverware was tinier. So I have like the big fork's a little shorter and the knife's a little less knifey, and and so I'll mix and match that. But I don't care. I'm not, I'd rather things look a little eclectic like you too. But I agree. I'd rather go to a thrift store and buy that stuff and make it all mixed patterns. But I was, how old was I? I was 25 when I registered. Stupid.
Just stupid stuff. Also, like now, fast forward to like when we have nice dinners at our house for like the high holidays, I'm not serving it on nice china. I'm serving it on nice chinette.
Yeah.
I'm doing like
the really fancy kind that you buy at Costco.
Can we get the really good paper plates? Like that's how you know it's a good dinner. And when the kids use those paper plates, I'm like, what are you doing? That's the nice paper plate. Don't use that. Use a real dish.
The one thing I do love is I have real napkins. So I have bought over the years, like 12 or 14 of like the big, like awesome, folded decorative napkins at different places. And Alan gets so upset when I put them out.
Do you iron them?
Well, the ones I have, you really don't need to iron. They come out, their material that they are, once you dry them, they're pretty much, dry and fold and you're ready to go. So no, I don't iron them, but I do have to wash them afterwards. But I like a pretty napkin. I like what it does to the table. Alan he is like up in arms. He is like, why would you use a napkin that you have to wash? I'll tell you what I will never have,
a handkerchief.
A handkerchief. How did you know I was going to say that? Oh my gosh.
We share the same brain, and that's all I could think of. When you brought up the cloth napkins, all I could think of was handkerchiefs, because our dad Milton, he uses handkerchiefs. He was using it during his bar mitzvah. Did you see him?
I can't get the image out of my head. Daddy, we love you, but
COVID.
I don't understand. You're right. Number one, it's COVID.
Can't we retire the handkerchief? Yeah. It's there's a pandemic.
But who decided, right? Who decided it was a good idea to keep a cloth napkin in your pocket, to then blow your nose repeatedly on it, and then to shove it back in your pocket?
It's so gross.
And to take it out throughout the day, right? This is why Kleenex was invented, because it's a one-use product that you throw away and then you sanitize or wash your hands. That is how the world should go. Pre-COVID, during COVID, after COVID, I don't care. The hanky is still a mystery to me.
I mean, like, what does mommy think about daddy having that handkerchief?
Right.
It's so gross.
I wonder if she's had a hankervention, right?
Yeah. And he does his own laundry, right? But I'm sure she also has to do that laundry. And it's,
here's why I think men originally must have carried handkerchiefs, was in case of a female around them needed it, right? If she broke down in tears, if she was going to cross the street and there was a puddle and he needed to lay it gently over it, right? Some of the chivalrous things, which of course would never exist.
To give up.
Right. The white flag, the ceremonial white flag. Yeah. I don't think it was ever intended for the snot consumption that is sometimes going on with our father.
Well, I think once Kleenex were invented, that should have ended the need for handkerchiefs.
Right. And I feel the same way personally about diapers. I mean, I know people are doing this for the environment, and I guess that's why they're doing the handkerchief. I don't think Daddy's doing it for the environment. I think it's just he's just gotten used to it. But I think they invented Pampers for a reason. I appreciate all of you who go through those diaper services and reuse it, but I was not that mother, unfortunately.
No, but what happened with me?
No,
I was allergic to diapers.
As a child or as a mother?
What? I know. I wasn't wearing diapers as a mother.
No, I mean, you couldn't touch them, like the cloth. Like, what do you mean?
No. Like when I was little and I wore diapers, I was allergic to diapers. Mommy and Daddy had to use cloth diapers on me. Don't you remember?
You mean you were allergic to the Pampers?
Yeah.
When you say diapers, I think of cloth automatically. That's why I was confused.
I mean like the disposable diapers. I was
Really?
allergic to them. They would make me break out. So mommy had to put me in cloth diapers with that plastic cover that went
Oh,
on
yeah.
top of that. And I remember the noise, right? It was like worse than the,
Worse
I'm
than
like,
corduroy pants. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like mimicking my butt cheeks going across. It's like,
Yeah. That's
it was,
exactly.
and there's a picture of me from when I
That
was
is
like
so funny. Do you
18
remember this,
months.
or just mommy and daddy have told you this? So
I have like a little sensory memory. I think if I put on a cloth diaper with a plastic overlay, that I would like go back in time, be like, this was what it
you'd
was.
immediately remember that sensation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. Good to know. Good to know.
The more you know. That's good. I guess you never changed my diapers when you were little.
Heck no. I didn't. Those maternal instincts had not kicked in quite yet.
So, speaking of daddy, I feel
Poor
like
daddy. He's like, really? Can we move off of me? I think we've done enough.
so I feel like I maybe had some experiences with daddy that you and Stuart did not have. Number one, I don't think you were a daddy's girl like I was. Number two, I don't think you were really around when I think you had already left the house when mommy would go away on work trips. Were you around when daddy was in charge and mommy was
That's what I'm trying to figure out. First of all, I want to push back on the not a daddy's girl. I don't think I was a daddy's girl or a mama's girl. I think I was both in equal measure. What I had with daddy that you didn't have is he was my coach for all of my sports, which I played a lot.
He was
So
my coach?
yeah,
He
but
was
but you weren't good. So it
what does that mean?
I actually
Was
had
he?
some potential. So, with basketball and softball and,
Yeah,
everything else. So he
you
was
had potential.
invested, and we did a lot of practicing in the
Yeah.
backyard, especially during softball season when I was in elementary school. And he got that net for me and practice, anyway. So we spent a lot of time and spent a lot of time learning to drive. So I
Well,
know you and Stuart are not the best drivers, and that's because you
I'm
probably didn't
really
have that
no.
sort of commitment from daddy at the time. He invested a lot in you.
Okay, number one, I'm a very good driver, and daddy taught me to be a very good defensive driver specifically. Number
I can
two,
tell
it
because you're
is
getting very defensive right now. So,
and number two, it is not my fault he didn't want to teach me how to drive a stick shift. That was Stuart's fault. He never even tried to teach me. He taught you. You were great at it. Stuart was awful. He almost broke the car. And by the time he got to me, he said, screw that.
right. The car is too precious and you are not. So, yes, but I
Your
don't
husband,
I don't
on the other hand,
remember
he tried to teach me, and it made me too nervous.
to your point, I don't remember daddy being in charge ever. I mean, to the extent that it was very clear when I wanted to go to Latin convention. Yes, that was a thing, Latin convention. That I wanted to ride in the car with Scott Pulliam, who was a senior, and I was in ninth grade, and I didn't want to ride the bus. And so before mommy got to the dinner table, I hurriedly gave daddy a permission slip, and I was like, and mommy remembers the story. Mommy, I mean, she remembers it like it happened yesterday. And I was like, Daddy, I just need you to sign this for Latin convention. He goes, well, what is it? I was like, just it's giving me permission to drive up there, and there's some seniors. He's like, okay. So he starts signing it, and I was like, thank you. And mommy comes in. What's that? I go, nothing. What's he signing? Nothing. And daddy's like, well, it's something for Latin. I was like, no, it's okay. And she goes, well, let me see it. And then I got busted. And she, of course, said those famous words. She's like, if God forbid anything ever happens to me, you are not to allow your siblings to ride in a car with a senior on the way to a Latin convention or anywhere else. What are you thinking, Milton? And of course, he's looking at me going, you totally duped me. I did totally dupe him. Daddy, I apologize. I take full responsibility. How can I make it up to you? But, I almost got away with it.
Did he not read the contract?
He did not. So that's as close in my childhood as daddy got to being,
in
quote,
charge.
in charge.
Well, let
Oh,
me tell
and I'm going to add one more thing. And we used to go to Brody's Bagels, and we'd pick up the Baker's Dozen bagels every Sunday morning together before Sunday school, and then we would split one on the way home, and that was our bonding too. So he was in charge then. He was in charge of grocery shopping since I was as young as I can remember.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you did this with Daddy, and this would now be deemed cultural appropriation, but this was through the YMCA. They had a daddy-daughter. It was almost like a Girl Scouts program, but it was called Indian Princess.
All right. They
And
would not have that
they
anymore.
would
You
not
can't even
have
say
this
that. I think we're
today.
going to have to bleep that out if we say that again.
Well, I mean, it's just what they did then.
Yeah.
It was just a father-daughter, like, Girl Scouting thing. It wasn't Girl Scouts, but it was like we would
It was a
do.
culturally appropriated way for fathers and
Yeah.
daughters to bond.
Yes. I mean, there were feathers involved.
You-
It
I'm
was-
laughing because it's so uncomfortable now talking about it. It's like
Well,
a
I
Seinfeld.
know.
Yeah.
We would never do that now.
Yeah.
And
You also gave your fathers like Native American names, right?
yeah, you would come up with the funniest was Julie did it with me, and she named
Oh, I
Uncle
know.
Ed Bald
Bald
Eagle.
Eagle. Yeah.
And we thought that was the most clever thing we'd ever heard because he was bald.
Yeah. He
Right?
still is.
He
Yeah.
still is. It was pretty on the nose. But anyways, when Daddy was in charge, Mommy would go out of town, and guess what would come into the house? I don't even know if Mommy knows this.
I'm going to guess pepperoni.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pepperoni pizza. And one time he took me grocery shopping, and I had somewhere it had clam chowder, and I got some clam chowder and I brought it home, and I went to go I had no idea because we were ordering pepperoni pizza when Mommy was out of town.
Right.
So I
Wait,
didn't
let's also preface this by, we grew up in a home that wasn't kosher, but we were never allowed to have pork or shellfish in the home. That was one of the stipulations. It wasn't strictly kosher, but that was not an understood rule. That was a well-informed, repeated rule.
But I saw some Campbell's soup clam chowder, and I was like, I'm gonna get that. And Daddy let me. He was with me at the grocery store,
Yeah.
Then I tried to make it, and Mommy's like, "What? What is that?" I was like, "Clam chowder." She's like, "We don't bring that into the house," and I'm like, "We don't."
You better tell that to your other half.
All right, we'll just wait for you to go out of town.
Right. When your next business trip, Mommy? Curious minds asking for a friend.
Right. We should just hit it in the back of the pantry and then gone from there.
Wow, Daddy is going to be so mad at you. I bet you're busting him. I bet Mommy never knew all this.
Oh, well, let's
Yeah, who's the daddy's girl now? Not you. Oh, that is funny.
So I think we have both agreed that I am the daddy's girl, and no, no, but
the sister formerly known as Daddy's girl. We're going to call you.
right, but we share the same pet peeve, which is handkerchiefs and Daddy using handkerchiefs. We love you, Daddy, but the handkerchiefs have to go. There's another thing that really is a huge pet peeve of mine that I saw when we were in New York for our nephew's bar mitzvah. We went apple picking, and there was this gentleman there with a quote unquote service dog, and really it was this teeny little like Shih Tzu with a ill-fitting service dog vest, and it wasn't a service dog. And I know this because the guy wasn't controlling it. The dog was going up to all these toddlers, jumping on the toddlers and licking them. One of the toddlers obviously did not want the dog on it, and the guy still didn't retract the dog. And she's like this and scared, and like a real service dog, first of all, would not be jumping on kids, and if that was your service dog, you'd be correcting it, even if it was in training. And if let's say it was on vacation, if the service dog was like, "Hey, I want to go apple picking," then
Because that's what service dogs often like to do on vacation.
They like to go apple picking. But then you would take the vest off so it wasn't a working dog. And it's so hard because over the years I have taught my kids, if you see a working dog, you do not interact with it. It's
Right.
not fair to the person or the dog is in this situation, right? So
As much as I want to pet every dog in the Atlanta airport when I see him or her, I am like, I have to hold back. Yeah, I get it. You know what they call that kind of dog, that Shih Tzu? That's a disservice dog. That
Yeah,
is doing a disservice to the real service animals who are giving their lives and their paws to protect and serve others.
yeah, the faux service dogs really get my goat. Is that is that the right expression? Am I saying that
Well,
the right way?
does he have to pretend it's a service dog so he can bring it everywhere? Is that the point? Yeah.
Or he might be saying it's an emotional support dog, but even like a true emotional support dog, you don't bring it into certain situations, especially if you can't control that dog. And where he thought it was adorable, this 3-year-old was like, get that dog away from me.
Yeah, that's not right. And the funny thing, look, I love dogs. We haven't had a dog in many years, in 9 years, but I know people who could legitimately register their dog as a emotional support dog or a service dog, and they don't. But that dog serves every purpose that those emotional support animals are intended to do. And now I think we've talked about it. You know, the airlines have gotten very strict about what you can bring on an airplane now after the peacock scandal. Emotional peacock and rat and I don't know, octopus and who else, whatever they were bringing on. But I know, you know, and I also, it's, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I have no point.
The point is that I need an emotional support dog to support me in my, the emotions against fake, service dogs.
Right.
That's where
I need a service dog to help me cope with the faux service dogs out there.
Right.
Work on that.
I'll work on that. So thanks for listening to the latest Sis and Tell podcast. Share us with your friends. Share us with your family. Share us with your foes. We don't care. Just share us.
As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.